feel like you're stagnating, like it may be time to take a risk. A risk kind of keeps your life fresh. It's like a risk is like hitting the refresh button in your life. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I saw a quote somewhere that said, life is not the elimination of risk, it is the management or mitigation of it. Welcome to another episode of Self-Employed Success Secrets. With me, your host Marcus. On today's episode, we're going to talk about why we should embrace the phrase safety last. Okay, a lot of people live by the dictum of safety first, and nothing's wrong with safety, but or in terms of like personal or bodily or mechanical safety. But when you kind of live your life based on everything's about safety first, I think you're gonna get yourself in trouble, especially when you're self-employed. You're thinking to yourself, you gotta take risks if you're gonna move forward. And so, for example, I want to ask you today, when was the last risk you took? Yesterday, I was walking in my neighborhood, and there was this lady who needed help with her groceries. I didn't know her, and I was just like, "Yo, do you need help?" It was kind of risky. She could have lashed out at me. She could have done a lot of different things, but I ended up helping her, and it worked out. When was the last time you took a risk? If you're self-employed or if you're at work, when was the last time you took a risk at work? About a few weeks ago, I asked somebody for a pay raise. That can be a bit unnerving. And fortunately, they gave it to me. Okay, you got to take these risks to move forward in life. Can't play it safe all the time. It's easy, it's fun, but eventually playing it safe is going to end up being the riskiest venture you're going to take. I saw some of the biggest risk is the risk not taken. Okay, the riskiest thing you can do is not take a risk. And most of us live our lives risk averse. Okay, if you're enjoying this content, feel free to keep watching. And also stay tuned for the surprise at the end. Look, guys, this is an important point. Risk is a part of life. Okay, no matter what you do, there is a risk involved with doing it. If you get on a plane, there's a risk involved with that. If you walk down the street, there's a risk involved with that. If you become 100% self-employed, there's a risk with that, okay? And because I'm 100% self-employed, I understand what it's like to take that full risk and put all the responsibility on your back. When I first started out in 2017, there was nobody. Okay, all I had was a little bit of savings and no clients and just a belief in myself. And now just completely self-employed and living off of this, it's like you can do this, but you got to take a risk if you want to do it. But a lot of you guys want to, you want the rewards with no risk. Okay, a risk is kind of the fee you have to pay to kind of move forward in your life. But too many of us are living tepid, listless lives where there's no risk involved. Safety abounds. I just want to discourage that today, and just to understand that if you're going to move forward, if you're going to see things grow in your life, you got to take a risk. Meaning, not just come out of your comfort zone, but you've got to do things differently. If you feel like you're stagnating in life, it may be time to take a risk. A risk kind of keeps your life fresh. It's like a risk is like hitting the refresh button in your life. Okay, if you're just like, it was Dan Payne who said, a really successful entrepreneur. He said that if your business is on quiet waters and you're not growing, okay, you want to take that risk and always kind of help your business to move forward. Like kill some things in your business to bring new things to life. Now, let's say you have a bike shop, okay, or let's say you sell go-karts, right? What if you just decided to make a car, like a small car? That would be a risk you got to take to move your business forward. And a lot of times these risks are not going to work. Like I've invested in some stocks and they didn't work out, but you got to take the risk because you got to look at life in its totality that is short. That if you don't take risks, you're going to look back and be like, I played it too safe. And a lot of people play it safe. One of the biggest regrets people have when they die is that they wish they had started a business. They wish they could have tried to control their economic destiny instead of somebody else controlling it for them. And that's a risk in itself, because when you start out, you don't make a lot of money. And it's really hard. And I went through a period where I made very little money, but it's just like that was a risk I was willing to take as a young person. And so don't feel bad and just be like, okay, my risk didn't pay off. You don't see where the seeds of that risk. Okay, so the purpose of this video is safety last. It's important to understand that if you're gonna have to take risks from time to time to make life beautiful, okay? You think about any achievement, like people going to space, that's a risk. They could die up there, Think about anything that's cool, they took a risk. If you see somebody who's living their dream, they probably had to take a risk at some point. They had to be like, hey, I can't go the conventional route. I'm trying to tell you today, don't go the conventional route. Take the risk that you're wanting to take, especially if you're being self-employed, especially if you're one of those people who want to have a business and you're too afraid to do it. Like my life should be a living witness that you can do it successfully at a young age, okay? I was gonna wait till I was 40 and work somewhere for a very long time to become self-employed, but you know, the Lord wanted me to do something else. I started when I was 23. Okay, I had no clients. I lost all my clients on one day. I was working at Mag Mutual, and it was just like, what am I gonna do? I just bet on myself, and you're gonna have to do that. Okay, many times you have to bet on yourself. You have to take on projects you've never done before and fail at it. Okay, there have been things I've taken on. I failed at. I didn't know what I was doing, but I had to try. Okay, and also too, you're not always gonna know what you're doing. Like, the element of risk involves the element of uncertainty. Okay, risk is the chance that things may not work out favorably. That's what risk is. Okay, and chance is just a gamble. Chance is like flipping a coin. Risk and chance are two different things. Okay, so I just want to talk to you about that today. And hopefully you got something good from this. Okay, so I want to talk about this for a second. What do I mean by safety last? Safety last meaning that safety, comfortability is your last priority when it comes to being self-employed, when it comes to your job. You know, there's a quote out there that says, don't ask your employer or your client for permission, ask for forgiveness. This is really what I'm talking about. Like, take chances, okay? Like, you're not going to get to where you're trying to go if you don't swing the bat a couple times and do something a bit unorthodox or unconventional. Okay, most people are going to just do what's easy all the time, and it doesn't really work out in the long run. It feels good today, but it doesn't work out in the long run. Okay, what I mean, well, what are some risks? When I'm talking about safety last, is like moving to a new city is a good example of safety last. Going against what everybody tells you to do is a good example of safety last. The first test I had, becoming self-employed, everybody around me was telling me not to do it. Okay, so you want to basically, safety last means being comfortable is your lowest priority. You don't care about comfort. Comfort is the least of your concerns. Okay, because when you're self-employed, like I said before in a previous video, that you're trading in comfort and convenience for challenge and consistency, okay? When you become self-employed, you're trading comfort and convenience for challenge and consistency. Your job is to bring comfort and convenience to other people, all right? And bring challenge and consistency to yourself. And it's hard. This is why one big reason why most people aren't self-employed, because it's very difficult. It's a huge, massive challenge. And the challenges never stop. Okay, so that's all I want to read, is that basically this video is about make safety your lowest priority. Now on to today's surprise. It comes from a guy named Viktor Frankl. He became famous for sharing his experiences of surviving a concentration camp in Germany during World War II. It's a very powerful quote, so hopefully you get something from it. This is what he said. He said, between stimulus and response is a space. In that space is our power to respond. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Okay, so hopefully that response stirs you up, and just understand that if you want to move forward in life, move the progress bar in your life, you got to take risks, okay? And lastly, as always, unsuccessful people make decisions based on their current situation, but successful people, you hopefully make decisions based on where you want to be, okay? Take risks. Okay, bye.